Welcome to the Kiwi Wedding Podcast, Ep.07. Today we have a little bit of a different one. We have on a wedding vendor, Susanna Reid from The Wedding Planner. We are going to be talking about destination weddings as well, which is a little bit off kilter because this podcast is all about weddings in New Zealand. But this one is more about Kiwis that want to go overseas, and we kind of more specifically talk about like Fiji and Bali, which are really popular spots for Kiwis to get married. And we chat about Susanna's business, which helps hold your hand through that whole process of booking a destination wedding. Getting married overseas can actually be more affordable than local, so something to consider, and this will be helpful if you have been thinking about getting married, somewhere in the Pacific or outside of New Zealand. We chat through some red and green flags when looking for a venue. We go through a few different Q&As. We chat about the different services that the wedding planner offers. They have quite a big focus on destination weddings, but they also do local weddings as well and have an on-the-day coordinator service, which is something super important that I think more people should consider using. There is a lot of value today, so I hope you enjoy this as much as I did chatting to Susanna. One last quick reminder, if you are listening to this on Tuesday, the 12th of September 2023, the Kiwi Wedding Podcast is a finalist in the NZ Top Vendor Awards. This is run by Wild Hearts and Together Journal. Such an honour to be a finalist, and thank you for everyone that nominated us. You can vote, and I will leave a link to that in the show notes. You have until tomorrow night, so Wednesday the 13th, and I would so appreciate it. Also, the Wild Hearts Wedding Fair is this Sunday in Auckland, Sunday the 17th of September, so if you're coming along, make sure you come and say hi to me. I would love to meet you. Enjoy episode 7 with Susanna. Hi Susanna, thank you so much for coming on the podcast today.
Hello, thank you for having me.
So excited to chat, and I feel like you're going to have lots of valuable advice for our audience. So first off, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and the Wedding Planner, your business?
Yeah, so a little bit about me. So I'm Susanna, and I'm the co-founder and director of the Wedding Planner. So I also have a business partner as well. So essentially, we're a platform where couples can search, compare, and book their dream destination wedding package in the one place on the one platform. And then we also have another side of our business where we're day of coordinators as well. So right here in New Zealand as well, we're doing all like Auckland, New Zealand weddings. So yeah, it's a little bit of the two kind of aspects to our business. But yeah, today we're talking all things destination weddings. So yeah.
So excited to get into it. And yeah, I think New Zealand is the best destination for a destination wedding, and we have people all over the world that want to come and get married here, or even if you're a local and want to have a destination wedding, maybe you're in the North Island, you want to have a South Island one or something. There's so many beautiful spots, so this would be really valuable for people to hear.
The islands are very, very enticing as well, being so close by, and Australia and that kind of thing, and Asia, like Bali, are kind of the hot spots that are close to us, not a 18-hour flight away.
Yes, I know. Sometimes New Zealand feels super isolated, but we are actually in a really beautiful part of the world, and Australia and the Pacific and Indonesia all on our doorstep. So we'll start off with chatting about how it all kind of works. So if you can walk us through a bit of the process from start to finish, what that looks like planning a destination wedding.
Yeah, so I guess it's a little bit daunting when couples think about, heading overseas to obviously have their wedding day. It's already probably a lot of stress doing it locally in your own country, but then looking overseas, you're like, oh, how does that whole process work? Sometimes there are language barriers, or, Google's not very helpful, that kind of thing. So, I guess the first step that a couple would take would obviously be to book a consultation with us, just so that we can get to know, obviously, a little bit about them, the location that they're looking at, the number of guests, if they describe, the type of venue or the vibe that they're looking for. They're looking for that intimate wedding on the beach or on a cliff in Bali or, out in the outback in Australia or on the islands, that kind of thing. So yeah, getting to know, I guess, exactly what you envision for your destination wedding. So then after, obviously, we've got all those details from you, we go away and we put together, obviously, as many packages as possible that meet all those requirements and obviously within your budget. And we come back to you and we say this, and this. This is a venue that's great, works within your budget, and is obviously everything that you're looking for. And obviously this saves a lot of time having to research, because obviously the wedding planner platform came about because when you Google, like, let's just say you wanted a destination wedding in Santorini, Greece, and you were looking for venues, a lot of Google will just give you like the top 10 list and won't give you like the actual venue website where you want to see, the information of, is this even within my budget? Because sometimes you look at them and you're like, oh my goodness, it's $1 million wedding. So you've got to look, and sometimes, and it's very time consuming because you've got to inquire with every single venue and then you'll find, it's not within your budget, or, things just don't pan out, the way you think, just looking at the website. So yeah, we do all of that behind the scenes. We're able to obviously inquire, and we already have a lot of relationships with a lot of venues and those obviously very popular destinations. And then, yeah, once you've found obviously the wedding package that you love, we can start obviously the process of booking it with you, with the venue. So going through all the logistics and the details that you want. Do you want, pink flowers? Do you want the white chairs? Where do you want it set up? Because a lot of these venues have, multiple locations where you can have your ceremony. So yeah, we're with you obviously every step of the way, and also making sure that the venue is giving you all of the things that they say that they're meant to be giving you within the package. So they'll have a list of offerings or inclusions that are within the package, and we obviously make sure that the venue is meeting all of those things. And then if there are any questions or concerns, we're there with you as well. So yeah, we vet all of our venues that we work with, as we'll go through later. Not all of them are, maybe the ones you want to go with, but yeah. So yeah, having those relationships and, there's no language barriers or things like that of that nature that you need to deal with. So yeah, just relieving that stress. And then yeah, once everything's booked in, you're ready to go. You just got to really wait until the day arrives and fly out or travel to wherever you're going, and yeah, enjoy your day.
It's such an amazing service you offer, and yeah, really key already having those relationships. I think that a lot of people have this perception that it's super expensive to have a wedding planner, and you can only do that if you have a massive budget. But I think it's actually the opposite. Sometimes you can sort of set your budget with them and can find the right fit for, you would say a range of budgets, right? Depending on what you're after.
Yeah. Definitely. I think that is a big misconception about the cost of a destination wedding as well. Like sometimes they can be a lot cheaper, if not half the price, because especially with exchange rates and that kind of thing, it can actually work out that your money goes a lot further, especially like places like Bali. Your currency actually goes a lot further. So then when we say, this amount of money, it actually only equates to, can be under $10,000 or $10,000 to $20,000, that kind of thing. So it can be a bit cheaper.
So great. That's important for people to know that it's maybe not as much as you think, or they can work within your parameters. So there is all different shapes and sizes of weddings. Can you talk about doing like a legal marriage versus a blessing or symbolic ceremonies?
Yeah. So this is probably the biggest question that we get asked in the first kind of call that we do one-on-one is, so what's the process when I get, can I get legally married in this country? So obviously it varies a little bit country to country. Like Fiji, their weddings are recognised mainly worldwide. Whereas with a place like Bali, it is a little bit more of a process to go through to do a legal marriage. So there are kind of religious requirements, and you've got to be at like the embassy to fill out all this paperwork and that kind of thing. So we do always recommend to couples with places like that in Asia to just do a symbolic ceremony and then do your legal marriage back at home. It just saves a lot of time, because sometimes you've got to add a day into your trip just to get the paperwork together. And also the venue charges you, it can be thousands of dollars just to do the legal marriage, because they've got to get a proper minister, they've got to do it the proper way, and there is a process. It's not kind of like New Zealand where you've kind of just got the celebrant, you stand up there maybe 15 minutes and then that's it kind of thing, and then sign your paperwork. But yeah, so it does vary country to country, but yeah, our recommendation is for couples to just do a legal marriage back home, sign all the documents back home, and then just do a symbolic ceremony. And of course, you'll still have, a celebrant and that kind of thing at your destination. It will look and feel the exact same, but yeah, just won't be the legal drama of having to fill out all the different paperwork and meeting all their different requirements.
Such a good way to do it, and yeah, it just makes it all a bit easier, and no one really knows if you want to sign a bit of paper and pretend, that's fine.
Yeah, you can sign some blank paper.
I think I've photographed a few weddings and they've just had like their vows printed out and put their names, like signed their names on it or something like that. So
that's a
if
good
you want
one.
to have your little signing, yeah.
Yes, do it off to the side. Oh, that's a good one. I'll recommend that.
So yeah, I'm excited to hear you've got some venue red and green flags for us. So yeah, can you go through a few tips on picking the perfect destination wedding package?
Yeah. So I guess when you're looking at all the different venues, they can look, amazing online. But there are a few key red flags to look out for when you're obviously liaising and working with these venues overseas or in a different place than where you're located. So the first one is there's no recent photos over the past 5 or so years. But I do give a little bit of a warning that because of COVID, they probably wouldn't have had photos since probably 2019, very early days in 2020. So the photos you may be looking at might have been, from that maybe 3 years ago, because things are only just starting to really pick up this year. So really starting to ramp up and get those full year bookings and that kind of thing. So yeah, no recent photos, and obviously they can't show you any kind of wedding setup or something like that would be a red flag, because even they're able to, even if it's not a real wedding, they should be able to even just set up a mock wedding and show you, different designs and different locations that they've set up to show you, what your day would look like. So yeah, if they're not able to provide any kind of photos of a mock setup or couples that have gotten married there recently, then yeah, I would say, be err on the side of caution. Maybe they don't do a lot of weddings. My second one would be only having a venue manager. So there's someone that only takes bookings. So they're basically the email person who says, yeah, you want this day, put it in the calendar, tell the staff that, this is the day, but they don't have any involvement in planning or coordinating your day. Either they're not going to be there on the day, running things like a wedding planner or a coordinator would be doing. They're mainly just open the door, you're allowed in this area, the chairs are there and that's it, kind of thing. So yeah, that would be one of my top questions when obviously liaising with a venue, would be what and who is going to be there on the day and what's your involvement, what's your role, just so that you're very clear and sure that there's someone there, obviously in the country that you're going to, that, you've got any questions or concerns the day before or the day of, they know and they've done this 100 times before.
That's great advice. Good to think about.
Yeah, and then the last one would be obviously poor or bad communication, or just lack of communication. So, there can be a language barrier, but most of the time the people that I have relationships with and deal with, they're bilingual, so they're able to speak obviously English and their own country language. But yeah, so poor communication would be more, not responding in a timely manner, or not really answering questions when you've got queries or concerns, or you're not very clear on what's included in your package, or, what time does the party wrap up? Like those kind of details, they're not very clear on that. You want to be very clear, so that there are no surprises on the day.
I love that you can be that middleman for couples, and you've done all the work already of figuring out if the venue's legit or avoiding any of those red flags. So that saves them a lot of time.
Yes, yeah, exactly. Because this is the first time, obviously, couples have ever probably planned a wedding, so you don't really know the mistakes or things to look out for because you're kind of just in love with the venue, and you've got this idea for your day that you're not really like thinking about, I guess, the business side of things too much.
With rose-tinted glasses a little bit.
Yes, a little bit, yeah.
That's such good advice. And is there anything like green flags, what makes a venue stand out, that it's maybe one that you should choose?
So the biggest one is that they can offer you additional experiences or things like that. So to guests or kids, like some venues, they'll offer child minding. So I don't know, maybe after your ceremony and you're getting your photos done, there's someone there to look after kids because they've got, I don't know, a kids play area or some kind of daycare within the hotel, something like that. Or they're able to offer guests an activity, maybe while you're off getting a couple's massage, guests can, I don't know, go out on a kayak or play tennis or something like that. So they offer like those additional experiences and amenities so that it is like a whole experience, because that's what a destination wedding is that you have your wedding day, but then there's also those added things onto your package to just add to the whole experience, because you don't just get the one day. Sometimes they're 4 days long, and you just keep celebrating, which is great.
Make a holiday out of it.
Yeah, exactly. Make a holiday out of it. Yeah, definitely value for money. So so the next one would be a green flag is that they're very clear on exclusive versus non-exclusive. So if a venue's upfront, so a lot of venues, they have, as we all know, when we go to, I don't know, the Hilton Hotel overseas, they have like a restaurant, and maybe they'll have like a ballroom hall that you probably never really see, but so an event area and that kind of thing. But let's say if you were using the restaurant for your reception, that you're clear and whether that's exclusive or non-exclusive. So if other guests will be there while you're having your reception, or do you get complete buyout and exclusive use of that space? And also the same goes for your ceremony area as well. If you're having it by the pool, is that a pool area where all the guests can just lounge around and watch you get married, kind of thing? So they're very upfront and clear on this is a dedicated space and it's booked out for your ceremony or your reception. So just so that there are no surprises on the day.
So that's an important one that, people might miss. So good to know.
Yeah, I think it is definitely one people miss and don't think about, because, I guess here in New Zealand, I guess it's something you would even ask here in New Zealand if you were hiring out in a state, is there 2 weddings going on at the same time, It's very important to know. Yeah, exactly. It can happen. The next one leading on to that would be they have an on-site wedding coordinator or some sort of planner that's going to obviously be there to greet you when you arrive and be your point of contact from day one all the way, obviously to the end. So, that's also another green flag. Most venues, if not all the venues we work with, have some sort of coordinated event planner. They're not just like a venue manager that has experience in events and organising the actual running of an event.
That's so important. And like you say, if you're just going to have to turn up and do it all yourself, it's so much more valuable having the coordinator there to help and make sure things are on time and all of that.
Yeah, and you want to relax. You don't want to, be running around worrying about what time's this, what time's that, because you're probably in a different time zone. You need someone, knocking on your door saying, it's time to get ready, or, ceremonies in 2 hours, kind of thing. So, where to go and what to do. You're not just left to your own. The next one is they give you group booking discounts. So you shouldn't be paying, I would say, the hotel rate. So if you go onto Expedia, you shouldn't be paying the hotel rate for accommodation or that kind of thing. A lot of packages do include accommodation for the couple at the minimum. Majority do. I would say that's another green flag as well. But yeah, they should be offering you a group booking discount, so a cheaper rate on the accommodation per night. And that's also something that we negotiate with the hotel as well, depending on how many guests you have coming and that kind of thing, and what, I guess, kind of rooms that you want. Do you want the presidential suite, or are you happy with just maybe a villa, and that kind of thing. But yeah, so I would definitely say that's a green flag as well. Because I guess as a New Zealander, you would just think the price is the price, because we're not used to negotiating and that kind of thing. But I would always say that there's room to negotiate. If you have a certain budget, say you have, I don't know, a $20,000 New Zealand budget, and let's say it's a little bit more, sometimes you can negotiate it down. If they're not as booked as maybe they anticipated, then they're happy to do that wedding. A booking's a booking to them. So yeah, sometimes there is some wriggle room and some negotiation that you can have.
Good to know. That's awesome. So yeah, can we get into the nitty-gritty of money a little bit? How much does the average destination wedding actually cost? And yeah, do you have any tips around saving money, or where to prioritize your spend and save?
Yeah, exactly. So on average, we would say that from an intimate, small kind of wedding, from like maybe 5 to 10 people, it would cost 5,000 New Zealand dollars, and then up to probably what I see commonly 20,000 New Zealand dollars for maybe 50 guests. And that 20,000 would include absolutely everything. So it would include the venue, drinks, food, accommodation, so end to end, and also those additional amenities and experiences as well. So like a couple's massage, a bowl of wine, they do up your room when you arrive, so all the decor, absolutely everything's included, ceremony and reception. So that's when I say it can be a lot cheaper than a local wedding. It can be for, I guess, the number of guests.
It's a lot less than I thought, to be honest.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. No, yeah, definitely. And that's kind of the Bali area. And yeah, Fiji as well. You can get something for even like a $16,000, maybe for that 20 to 30 guest as well. So yeah, everything's included, food, drink, end to end kind of experience. But yeah, so yeah, definitely can be. And then that 5,000 would be more like that elopement, maybe with like your closest friends and family, 5 to 10.
What else can we consider, for saving money?
Yes, yeah. So we want to get the budget obviously down as much as possible. So yeah, so I guess the obvious one is time of year, off-peak season, or the day of the week. So a lot of places like Bali, I guess they do kind of have a rainy season, but they're hot all year round. And probably the same goes for like the islands as well. So yeah, I guess time of year doesn't really matter as much as like a place like New Zealand, where we do have like the winter and the summer. So yeah, you can book their off-peak seasons, even though it's still hot and everything like that, because it's a kind of that tropical climate. And then yeah, the day of the week as well. So booking that Monday to Friday or Monday to Thursday wedding instead of the weekend can obviously save you thousands of dollars.
That's a good one to think about. Even here, I think there is some local venues that do weekday discounts, or like a winter package that's a bit more discounted. So definitely summer's the most popular time to get married, but maybe consider a different season or day of the week if you want to factor that in and maybe save some money.
Yes, I know, and I've seen an increase even in local weddings in New Zealand, and people doing those weekday weddings. Maybe probably the most popular is like a Thursday. So, and Thursday and Monday kind of thing. But yeah, so because it just saves you thousands of dollars.
I think it happened the last few years for sure. I noticed it with COVID and a lot of postponements, and there's just not enough dates to go around. Like the venues ran out of Saturdays in summer. So yeah, had like Tuesday, Wednesday weddings. Yeah, you just had to do it on another day. And if people really care about you, they'll take the time off work.
Exactly, they'll have the flexibility. The next thing is book the vendors that are included or recommended by the venue. So they're already obviously included as part of your package, unless I have an exception for photographer, because I'm not too sure about the photographer that comes with the venue. I mean, you can vet them and have a look and that kind of thing and look at their work. If you're happy with it, go with them, that kind of thing. But I guess maybe you can talk on this one a little bit more as well, being a photographer, why you would or you wouldn't, go with the venue's photographer. But yeah, I guess there's certain styles and certain preferences. But yeah, obviously it saves you a lot of money just going with their florist and they're familiar with the venue setup, where to go, what to do, and that kind of thing.
That's great. Just make it easy. And yeah, obviously I'm a bit biased being a wedding photographer, but I do think that's the important one, to get someone that you not only love their style, but you get along with them because you spend a lot of time with them on the day. And yeah, someone that you click with. And, that's like the thing you're going to have after the wedding, the photos, the memories. So that's, in my opinion, most important.
Yeah, because the florals, they're florals. So, I mean, you pick the colour, you're probably showing them some Pinterest inspiration, but, the photographer's got to capture it all. So that's probably the most important part. Another one that we touched on before, opting for that symbolic ceremony instead of that legal marriage. So yeah, venues can charge obviously thousands of dollars extra for a legal marriage, because there are certain things that you've got to meet, maybe a certain type of priest that they've got to have, that kind of thing, or a certain way they've got to conduct the ceremony in order to do a legal marriage. So yeah, just opting for that symbolic, and the celebrant, a standard, I guess, celebrant is already included within your package, so you don't have to add on the additional fees and I guess administration of having to do a legal marriage. And then my last one is obviously exclusive discounts and deals, obviously going through us. So because we have existing relationships with these venues, we can get exclusive pricing and deals and packages that aren't obviously on offer to, I guess, the wider public and on offer on their website. So yeah, obviously that negotiation and having that relationship with them, they are able to lower the price for us, or add an additional day, or add kind of an additional inclusion into the package, obviously just to make it a better deal. And, for going through us and having a good relationship with them, obviously we bring them the best couples, and, and we obviously get along very well.
Great, I love that. And just hearing about all the process and the behind the scenes from you, it's a lot of work to do if, just the couple yourself, and you might be working full time and then trying to plan this destination wedding at the same time. So yeah, I think so helpful to hire someone like you to just get that all done for you. You already have the connections, and definitely would make it a lot easier for couples.
Yeah, not having to inquire in 10 different places and then realise 5 of them are $100,000 for a day.
Exactly, it's a lot of admin.
Yeah, because we already kind of know the pricing, like we and we know kind of when you tell us, the budget and what you're looking for and value for money and that kind of thing, where we should be going, and, what kind of venues can offer you.
Bit of a one-stop shop, so helpful.
Mm-hmm.
So great to hear. I did put up a little question box on Instagram for anyone to ask questions. One person asked, what's the difference between you and a day of coordinator? I know you said you do both, but maybe you can explain that a bit for people.
So I guess the destination wedding side of things, wedding planning side of things, is going from, end to end. So all the way from the start of, you're engaged and you have an idea of what your day is going to look like. And then obviously finding those packages or those venues that meet all your requirements and obviously are your dream day. And then obviously going all the way through it with the venue. So, confirming all of those details, making sure we're really clear on, what we're delivering on the day, how the day is even going to run. So, maybe even putting together a mock timeline, that kind of thing. And then day of coordinator is purely just the day. So with our day of coordinator, we come into the picture 2 to 3 months before your day. So you've already booked everything. Everything should be pretty much good to go, but you need someone on the day to be, liaising with vendors, showing them where to go, where to set up, accepting deliveries, making sure that the tables are set up and styling. So maybe you have some DIY things that you want us to put out. We're obviously there to set that all up, and then moving anything maybe from your ceremony to reception. So a lot of couples will have like a beautiful flower display at their ceremony that they want to move to their reception, where we can move those kind of things around and move any furniture and that kind of thing. So really coordinating and running the whole day. So yeah, I guess there is a little bit of a difference. We're not there from the very beginning with day of coordinator. We're just there, to execute and obviously, put together your timeline and make sure everything's going to run smoothly.
That's such an important role, and yeah, I've seen that a lot. I think it's really important to get someone like outside of your wedding guests, your family, to do that, because yeah, I've seen kind of bridesmaids running the show or someone's mum running around, and it's just too hectic. Like they need to just be and enjoy the day. So getting somebody else to just take over all those little in-between things that you might not think about, like, yeah, moving the chairs or making sure things run on time as well, that, yeah, you're going to be back in time for dinner and you allocate enough time for photos and, yeah, so many things to think about.
We have a funny story. The first wedding we ever coordinated, it was a backyard wedding and that kind of thing, and the portaloo broke. It actually broke. And imagine if the guests had to deal with that, or your mum had to deal with that and that kind of thing. Like we had to deal with it, and thank God we were there, to get the portaloo company or the to come in and bring obviously a new one for the day. And there was over 100 people, so it's not like you could have just left it, so it's those kind of things you don't even think of or imagine happening. It actually happens. And you've got to have someone there that is able to deal with it, because it's not just a quick phone call. It was a lot of running around and making sure that they were going to show up, and actually bring one. But yeah, so those are the things to kind of think about. And I guess it's the same thing when I was saying the venue managers with destination weddings, with the venues here, are they actual coordinators and planners on the day, or are they just the venue manager that just turns the key and opens the door, and takes bookings? So, there is that key distinction.
Yeah, I have seen that as well. The kind of person that comes with the venue being a little bit more hands off and, yeah, just not as helpful as you would think. So I think, yeah, actually asking them what their role is and, yeah, how they're going to help you on the day, that's important to figure out.
Because they probably won't set up like those DIY things that you have, like, you've got these table numbers that you've made, or this bar, setup that you've made, they're probably not going to be running through boxes, and setting it all up.
And some venues are amazing with that, but yeah, you just got to figure it out. So true about that story before as well. It's just up to the vendors to be putting out fires in the background, and couple are none the wiser. They're just enjoying their day. That is not your problem.
Yes, exactly.
So many good stories. Always works out in the end. Got a few more questions here. What would you say takes longer than people expect, and what should be started as soon as possible? So yeah, just in general, I guess, in the wedding planning process.
Yeah, I guess what takes longer than expected. I guess with destination weddings, yeah, running through all the details, from end to end. I guess you don't realize how much goes into a wedding day, and how much back and forth there is. So yeah, everything down from what do you want as the setup? Do you want like flowers, or do you want poles, or things like that? And yeah, and then obviously reception as well. How do you want that set up? Where do you want it set up? How do you want it to look? And also like music as well. People will think, oh, I'll just play, my Spotify playlist, and then you realize the whole day is like 6 to 8 hours, of music. So you've got to have, a DJ or a band, or some kind of music, that kind of thing. So I guess those are the things that people don't realize how long they take, and we always recommend to people, having, the DJ or the music, that's always a great thing to have included in your package. And also bartenders as well is another one that I see pop up. People will just do like a self-serve, or want like a self-serve. Why do I need someone, to pour a drink, when we can just grab but then you run out of ice, or, you haven't chilled all the beers, because like you only have so much space to chill X amount at a time. So then everyone's drinking a warm beer. There's these things that people don't realize they are like a bigger deal than you kind of don't initially think.
It's so helpful to have you just thinking of all those little scenarios and covering all the bases.
I always let couples know, I warn them. I'm like, no, hire a bartender, even if you just have one.
So I think you've kind of answered this a little bit already, but yeah, is there anything else that you would say are like little things that people forget about?
Yeah, I guess those are the two big ones. You know, the DJ and like bartenders and that kind of thing. I can't really think of anything else. Yeah, I guess, is there anything from the photographer side that people forget about? Maybe destination weddings or on their day?
Yeah, I guess it's just nailing down all the logistics and the timeline. I think something I'm always thinking about is the light on the day. So
Oh,
it might be different when you're in a different country, and it's always kind of good to look up like what time sunset is, and
mhm.
yeah, sort of almost planning backwards from there about if you're having like an outdoor wedding, do you want to be in the boiling hot midday sun, or maybe push it a little bit later into the afternoon, and yeah, factoring like when your photos will be, if it's again that really bright middle of the day light that can be quite like harsh, and yeah, create like harsh shadows, so you can always find shade or make it work, but yeah, considering if you want to get some of those like golden hour shots, just thinking about how things are going to look at different times of the day. That would be one tip from me.
Yes, definitely. It's definitely the buffer when you think, you've gotten ready, but then you've got to get the photos after you've gotten ready. So then, it's not a quick 10-minute, snap. So yeah, adding in obviously that timeline kind of thing and really thinking about, liaising with the photographer is probably the key one, making sure that everything's running to time, but obviously enough time to do all of the things.
That's always a tip from me. Just communicate with your vendors. They know best. They've done many more weddings than you have and can give you great advice, and just book people that you trust as well. So yeah, if you maybe you can talk about that a little bit. What's something people should look for when they're trying to find a wedding planner?
Yeah. I guess someone that really gets your vision. So they're not, you say beach wedding and they're showing you like a ballroom, so it really gets your vision. And also, it's also staying within your budget. So it's not coming back to you every day or every week saying we need $5,000 more. We need, and really understands that, this is a budget, but also keeping in mind that you might say my budget's 20,000 New Zealand dollars, but then you might have a little bit more of a buffer for, I don't know, additional drinks or this other thing that you want included that's, not within the package, because there are add-ons that you can add on to your packages as well. So, yeah, I guess keeping all of that in mind and obviously being very clear with the couple about what we want included, things that are non-negotiables or things that, you don't really mind about having or not having. So, yeah, I guess, working in budget is probably the key one.
That's great advice. Cool for people to consider that, not just coming back and asking for more money all the
Yes,
time.
and just saying, oh, but it's just 5,000 more.
Like maybe they're going to educate you on how much things are, and if the couple's giving you inspo photos from like a 50 grand wedding and they've got a 5 grand budget, then they might need to just
Exactly.
reconsider that.
Yes. Just being, I guess a little bit more realistic that we're not saying, oh, this 50 grand, this is what we're going to get, like, yeah, there is a little bit different. But yeah. So just, they're really clear. They're not just trying to push something that I guess you don't really need or want.
Such great advice. So you're not married yourself yet, but you must be thinking, like, get all these ideas. I mean, people always say that to wedding vendors, you must know exactly what you want when it comes to your day if you want to get married. But having seen a lot of the behind the scenes and been involved, is there anything you've learnt, or any lessons that you would take into planning your own wedding day?
Yeah, I guess my dream wedding, if I was thinking about it right now, would probably be Santorini in Greece. Like just looking at the incredible destination wedding photos, I'm like, oh my goodness, like looking at the ocean on the cliff, I'm like, and the glass and just the houses, I'm like, oh my gosh, that's the dream. I mean, looking at packages, they can go from like $5,000 to $10,000 if you're just doing an intimate wedding. But yeah, I guess tips, kind of like what I said before, knowing what's included in your package and that kind of thing. Yeah, and I guess time of day is another one. So yeah, with like Santorini, Greece, you want those sunset ones with the ocean. They just look absolutely stunning.
How it's gonna flow and just be enjoyable for you and everyone is, yeah, something that you'll nail when it comes to it.
I guess that's the other thing as well. I guess just thinking that on the day, just whatever happens, happens, and not, worrying about just, I guess, the little details and just going with it because, you don't want to get upset or anything about, these little details in hindsight. It's all good. It's fine. You've got your beautiful photos. You've got, those memories and those moments. So that's all that matters.
Yeah, definitely great advice. Just got to embrace it. And yeah, planning a wedding can be really overwhelming, and even the actual day, it's emotional and yeah, can be quite like heightened. So yeah, if you can do your best to just like breathe and relax and yeah, be present and enjoy it, I think that's really key. Yeah, to wrap up, if you can tell us a little bit about the I guess your background and yeah, the business, what led you to creating the wedding planner, and yeah, how you kind of found yourself here.
Fell into it. Yeah. So I guess the way we've been doing this for 2.5 years now, I think. Yeah, since 2020, early 2021. So yeah, I guess the way I fell into it is I saw a gap in the market that there was no platform where couples could go and find. Obviously, I see a huge problem in the industry as well, and I see it kind of coming up again and again, is price transparency. So, you see these incredible venues and these incredible weddings, and then you realize they have like an $80,000 budget, and then you realize my parents aren't, or my family's not giving me, an extra 20 here, an extra 20 there. So, yeah, I guess my main goal is price transparency. So, as you can see up on the Wedding Planner platform, we're upfront with pricing. That this is in the range of $5,000 or this is in the range of 16 to 20, so that and this is how many people are included, this is what's included at the base kind of package. So yeah, it's really just getting rid of that like a secretive pricing. I don't know, like people think maybe you'll show up, fall in love, and then they're like $50,000, and you're like, yeah, it's like I really want to see a change in, I guess, the industry and the way things are done. That we're just upfront that we're between this range, and this is how much it's going to cost, and yeah, just so that couples can budget around that. Because if they do love it so much, then maybe they will wait a little bit longer on their engagement and have a wedding in 2025 and just wait. But it's exactly what they want. It's and maybe it will cost a little bit more. But yeah, I think price transparency is the way to go, and yeah, just so that people can budget and know what they're getting into and that kind of thing.
That's such an interesting conversation, and it's so true that there's a lot of hidden costs in the wedding industry. I know there's a lot of chat between photographers with people that think you should put your full pricing on your website, or some people just have a starting price. And so it is just that extra step for them to inquire and wait for you to get back with a quote. Or yeah, obviously with some vendors and venues packages, it's customized to what you specifically want and need. But yeah, even just getting those ballpark figures out there and giving people an idea of what's realistic, I think that's so important to just educate and yeah, be transparent. So I love that you guys do that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, even on our day of coordinator package, we say, we're from $900, obviously plus tax, just so that people know, and usually our highest price is really like 1,600. I mean, it'd be $2,000 if we had 3 or 4 coordinators for like a massive wedding, but most of our weddings are between that 1,200 to 1,400 mark for those micro weddings that are like 50 to 120 people kind of thing. So yeah, just being really transparent with pricing, and yeah, just so that people can budget for it and know. It's like even I'll even have day of coordinator bookings one-on-one, and they'll just want to know from the very beginning how much a coordinator is. Before they've even actually booked everything. So they just want to know from us, hypothetically, if our day was like this and it ran like this and we had this and that, how much would that cost, kind of thing, just so that they know and that they can factor it in when they are booking all the other vendors. and things that they want to do, just so that they know, oh yeah, this is going to cost this, is going to cost that.
That's so great. People don't know. It's just not out there.
Yeah.
So I love that that's changing a little bit. And yeah, I think people just have a little bit warped perception sometimes when it comes to how much things actually are for weddings. And yeah, it's not just that they're slapping on a higher price because you've
The
said
wedding
the word
tax.
wedding. It's a bit of a thing people talk about, but yeah, just getting really good vendors that you trust and are worth what they charge. Yeah, super important, and that you can do it with any budget.
You're probably more likely to accommodate, the price, because you're just in love with it. So yeah, so that's probably the key.
Cool. So can you tell people where they can find you, follow along, yeah, look at your website and options, and yeah, how they can get in touch with you guys?
Yeah, so our website is theweddingplanner.co.nz. So that's where you can find all things, obviously, destination wedding packages, and also our day of coordinator package as well. So if you're looking for a day of coordinator to run, obviously, a wedding day from end to end, make sure it's all running smoothly. So then get in touch. And also, if you're looking for that wedding day overseas, then yeah, book a chat with us. It's up online. In our contact us section, you can just book a Calendarly in my calendar, and we can just have a quick 30-minute one-on-one chat, even if you're just entertaining the idea, or you just want to get an idea of around pricing on some of the ideas or the visions that you have for your day. Then yeah, just get in touch. I'm happy to chat you through it, and yeah, ballpark figures, and yeah, what we can do and what we can get done.
Amazing. Such a cool service. Really encourage people to get in touch with you, and yeah, we'll link everything in the show notes and on Instagram as well, so people can go and see some of your work.
Amazing. Cool. Well, thank you for having me.